My name is Claire Whitfield and I'm 34. Last spring, I sent one photograph to my family's group chat, a picture of my 7-year-old daughter, pale against her hospital pillow, hours after open heart surgery. Underneath it, I typed, "She wants to see you." My brother answered first. "Busy, handle it." Then my mother. "She lived. Stop making her our problem." 14 people were in that chat. Not one of the other 12 said a single word. I typed back the only sentence I was ever raised to say, "It's okay," set the phone face down on my daughter's blanket, and went and cried in a stairwell where she couldn't hear me. 3 months later, at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, my mother and my brother each dropped their phones in 2 different rooms on 2 different sides of town at the exact same moment. Before I tell you what was on the news that night, you need to understand what my family had actually been doing with my daughter's heart while I sat alone in that hospital. Because those 2 cruel texts weren't even the worst part. Some background. So the rest makes sense. I'm a staff accountant in a small Midwestern city. I balance other people's books for a living, which means I know exactly what a lie looks like inside a ledger. I raise my daughter, Maddie, alone in a rented 2-bedroom house. She's funny in a quiet way, and she draws our family in crayon whether they've earned it or not. She was born with a heart defect surgeons patched when she was a baby, and she calls the scar down her chest her zipper, like it's a jacket feature. My mother, Elaine, lives 20 minutes away in the house I grew up in. Flag out front, church directory by the phone. My brother Nathan is 38, sells real estate, and smiles down at commuters from a billboard on the highway. Our father died 9 years ago. Heart trouble runs in this family. So does our way of handling it, making absolutely sure the neighbors see us handling it. I built my career starting at 19, paying my own tuition 1-night class at a time, and I learned early that in our house, love was a bill you paid by never once needing anything back. I was the daughter who handled things. Nathan was the son who announced things. My mother managed the difference between us. For 34 years, that arrangement held, mostly because whenever it cut me, I said the only line I was ever trained to say, "It's okay." By the end of that February, both hearts in this family, the real one and the painted one, were about to be tested at the same time. Maddie's routine cardiology checkup that February ran long. The valve doctors had repaired when she was a baby was failing faster than anyone had projected. The cardiologist used calm, clinical words, regurgitation, enlargement, surgical window, and then one sentence with no calm in it at all. We shouldn't wait past spring. I did how I always do when the ground moves. I made a list. I called the insurance company from a parking garage and memorized the hold music. Then, because some habits outrank good judgment, I called my mother. Her first question wasn't whether Maddie was scared or what the odds were. Her first question was, "Have you told anyone yet?" I understood that question fully within 48 hours. Without a single call to me, my daughter's face, school picture, missing tooth, Sunday dress, was suddenly online, asking strangers for money. My brother had built the campaign himself on a Friday night. He never asked me. He never even told me. I found out when a coworker hugged me in the break room and said she'd already donated. My mother shared it everywhere with the caption, "Prayer warriors, our girl needs you." Within a week, it had gone locally viral. The news ran a segment. My brother sat in the interview chair in a blazer the color of trust, my mother beside him holding a framed photo, and I was invited to stand slightly out of frame, like a coat rack that could cry on cue. He touched his chest for the camera and said, "Family is everything to us." By that night, the total had passed $40,000. Here's the part that put a cold, careful itch at the base of my neck. Every dollar of it routed through one person, not the hospital. Not me, Maddie's mother, but my brother. Sole organizer, sole control of withdrawals. The same brother who was about to be too busy to visit a recovery room. I did try the reasonable route first. I emailed him in writing with the hospital's own instructions for transferring a fundraiser to a beneficiary's family. A simple form, takes a minute. He called instead of replying, said there was a process, and handed me $2,000 in a parking lot as an oversized novelty check, while a photographer took photos for the campaign page captioned, "First disbursement to our brave girl." The comments filled with hearts. They wheeled my daughter into surgery at 7:26 that April morning. She told the anesthesiologist to be careful with her zipper. I sat in a Cincinnati waiting room for 9 hours and learned the floor tiles by heart. At 4:10, I opened my phone hoping for word from the operating room, and instead found out where my family actually was. A hotel ballroom. String lights. A step-and-repeat banner with my daughter's face printed across it a dozen times. My mother in a floor-length gown wearing a sash that read Team Maddie. My brother at a podium in a tuxedo. The post had gone up while my daughter was still on the table. Tonight, we celebrate hope. They had scheduled a celebration in her honor on the day of her open-heart surgery, 90 minutes away, and hadn't told me and hadn't come. She made it through. That evening in the ICU, more wires than blanket, she surfaced just long enough to ask, "Did Grandma come?" I told her Grandma knew she was safe. She nodded seriously and said, "Tell her I still have my zipper." I photographed her, pale, small, alive, thumb half raised, and sent it to all 14 people in that chat. "She's out. She's okay. She wants to see you." My brother's reply came within a minute. "Busy, handle it." My mother's came right behind it. "She lived. Stop making her our problem." 12 other people saw both messages. Not one of them typed a single word. I memorized every name in that silence, typed, "It's okay," one more time, and walked to a stairwell to cry where she couldn't hear. We came home 5 days later to a mailbox full of bills that don't pause for anyone. Even with decent insurance, our actual out-of-pocket cost that year came to just over $11,000. Meanwhile, the public fundraiser page still displayed its total for anyone to see, $112,000. I didn't need a calculator to feel that gap. I wrote to my brother again, formally, spreadsheet attached, requesting funds to cover Maddie's actual medical costs. 3 days later, $3,000 landed. Memo line, final. When I called, he explained in his showing a house, voiced that the rest was earmarked. The family had decided the remaining money would be protected and used for something bigger than one hospital. Bill. He called it the foundation. Then he had a showing it took 11 days to learn exactly what he'd built with my daughter's name. A registered nonprofit, director, my brother, treasurer, my mother. Mission statement about supporting families facing pediatric cardiac challenges. A category of 1 minus the 1. A donate button. A photo of my daughter I had never approved. An already scheduled second annual gala for an organization younger than the flowers on my porch. And at a red light one afternoon, I saw the rest of it myself. My daughter's face on a bus bench, right beside my brother's real estate branding. Same fonts, same colors. A matched set. My daughter had become a marketing asset with a scar. From the back seat, she looked at herself on the bench and asked, in the mild voice she uses for genuinely confusing things, "Mom, why am I on a chair?" I told her some people put pictures where everyone can see them. She thought about it and said, "But nobody asked me." 7 years old, and she'd already found the entire case against my family in one sentence. That night I started a gray binder, screenshots, dates, statements, and labeled a new section simply, "The Foundation." I brought it calmly to my mother's Sunday dinner table and asked where the money had actually gone. She didn't flinch. She smoothed the tablecloth and told me, almost gently, that the family runs on its name, that she'd fed us both on that name after my father died with no pension and no insurance, and that a hospital bill wasn't going to be allowed to threaten it. One girl's bad year, she called my daughter's open heart surgery. Then she told me to sign nothing without showing her first, as if I were the one running something on this family. The turning point came from a hospital family services worker, who mentioned carefully that the hospital's cardiac unit had never received the $25,000 pledge my brother announced from that gala podium, in my daughter's honor, to a standing, applauding ballroom. Not that month, not ever. That's when I understood this wasn't just vanity or coldness. Announcing a gift and pocketing the applause without ever sending the money is theft with a soundtrack. And if the loudest, most public promise was hollow, the quiet, earmarked money wasn't earmarked for anything but them.